Welcome to Live, Laugh, Launch, the podcast where we take your go-to-market strategy seriously.
But not too seriously. We're your co-hosts. I'm Katie.
And I'm Veronica.
And we're marketing pros who've survived enough launches to know that perfection is a myth and coffee, and sometimes cocktails, are a must.
In this podcast, we talk strategy, share hard-earned lessons, and say the quiet part out loud, whether you asked for it or not.
We'll tackle the good, the bad, and the hilarious of marketing so you can giggle, not gaggle, your way through your next launch.
Because if you're not living, laughing, and launching, are you even marketing?
Let's get into it.
Hello.
Hi.
From New Orleans.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
We're here, possibly a little hungover from last night's festivities.
Just a little.
Which was my wedding reception. There was lots of dancing. It was very hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
And
it was fun.
It's not even May yet. But anyway, we survived, and I think everyone had fun.
Barely. So this morning you'll see her drinking her coffee and me water. We did some shots. We are a bit tired, but that's okay. We still have a lot to talk about. But yes. I do want to say I have enjoyed my time here in New Orleans. So if you have not been here, you should come and join us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I told Veronica, she said, "Oh, this is a cute space." I was like, "Well, I guess you'll have to come back every 2 weeks back for this podcast."
I love this space. It's going to be our new podcast room when we're together, for sure.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it's very,
the
I love the flowers.
Yeah,
the pink is a vibe thing. For sure.
This pink is perfect.
So today we're gonna keep it white because we are hungover, but also. I'm about to go on my honeymoon tomorrow, so my brain is not especially business focused today. And Veronica maybe you should give a life update.
Yeah, I want to give you guys a life update, and this will go into a really good topic, I think, too. So my life update is I recently resigned from my product marketing position at a company that the product was absolutely amazing. So it saddens me to leave such a great product, but it just wasn't a match for me, my values of what I was expecting in an organization. So I was super excited when I joined the company, but there are some things that I should have asked in my interview process that I've learned. But I did have a great opportunity there. I learned a lot, and now I know what I'm looking for in my next opportunity.
That's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah.
And, well, no organization is perfect, of course.
No.
There's always something, but you just got to find the best match you can. At the end of the day, we all got to work.
Yeah.
Unless we win the lottery, which truly would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that's in my cards.
What would you do if you won the lottery? Work-wise, what would you do?
Work-wise, I would expand this podcast, to be honest with you. I think I would probably launch something on my own, something to do in tech, definitely involving AI. There's so much out there. So I would probably invest in a company where, I can launch my own product.
Yeah.
Product launches are fun. Go to market's fun.
Yeah, I think I would write for a while. I do write. Well, I have written. I try to write in my spare time, but it takes a lot of brain power and creative power, which I don't always have working full time. But also I think I would, after that, or after I got bored, because I can't just sit there, I'd probably start a nonprofit.
Yeah, that's what I'd love to do.
I've had a theater company before where I was one of the founders and president of the board, and I loved it. And when you're like a founder or an early person in the company, you do everything go to market. Like that is you. Like I had, women who were also doing it with me, but I did the social media. I did like all the sponsorships that we got. I did like just all the things. I directed, I produced.
People think, and because I also own a small business, people think that, you own a business, that you're just automatically successful and everybody works for you. But that's not the case. You're working your ass off.
Oh yeah.
Probably more than working for an organization, in my opinion, sometimes, because you are the one who has to make it happen, because you are the one who has to pay your employees, and you're constantly stressed and up at night wondering, did I make enough to make sure that payroll is going to occur? Do I have enough where we can spend? Is the content that we're creating and the social media resonating with the followers and so on? So it's a lot.
Yes, for sure. And then you also kind of have to like be the face of it.
Yeah.
So not only is it like fiscally up to you, but also that impacts your personal brand. I always admire entrepreneurs that like, obviously most of them have to go through quite a few companies before they're successful. Not always, but a lot of times. And so they have to fail a lot.
Yeah.
And damn, that's hard. I don't know if I could do that all the time and just like, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've owned my company. Oh gosh, it's been a while. 10 years? Wow. Okay. And I failed a lot. There were times where I really wanted to just like quit and just give it up. And then I failed, like when it came to the contracts, I forgot to put lingo in my contracts, and I'm like, oh shoot, or collections when people don't pay, I learned the hard way.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So you were talking about like you're taking some time off, which I'm very jealous of, but obviously you're going to go back to work and back to product marketing, I think. So what is most important for you when you look for your next role?
Now that I know in my interview, it's going to be very important for me to really interview the product manager. I want to know the launch process.
Yeah.
I need to know the future roadmap, the current roadmap. I need to know like what, because the previous company that I just left, they just launched products without a goal in mind.
Well, they've never had product marketing.
They didn't have product marketing, correct. And I want to make sure that, am I the new product marketer coming in and you've never had it? And if that's the case, that's fine. But does the company align and understand what product marketing does? And they understand my role? And is everyone okay with a new product marketer coming in? Because that's tough.
I read something on LinkedIn the other day that was like, product marketers aren't brought in to solve your company's challenges overall. They come in to solve product management challenges. And I was like, oh, damn, that's kind of like Veronica.
There was a lot of challenges, and not to mention, you want to know how many products you're going to be responsible for. So, and if you're responsible for several, which is fine, you need to be able to have a leader that stands up for you, that says, we're not going to be able to take every one of these launches to market. It's just unrealistic. So I had 11 products, each had 15 specialties. There's just no way, right? And also what's very, very important is the ramp up time. Give me time to understand and learn the product. I didn't have that. So it was a lot of like trial and error, but I really appreciated the product. I really appreciated everything that I learned, but now I know like, hey, there needs to be like someone in the middle saying not everything is going to be able to launch.
Yeah. I think other things to ask about that I think I haven't done a great job asking about in the past. I've been like, ooh, a new job.
Yeah.
Yay. I want a new job. What stage are you with like product market fit? How many customers you currently have today? How much revenue are you bringing in? I know you should be asking those questions, but sometimes people can get excited and just, maybe bypass some yellow flags that you don't know about. Or when someone is hiring you, they're going to tell you the best version of the job, the company, the team, everything. So you have to like really do some detective work by yourself also. But also just kind of like read between the lines. Like when we worked together, the product we both worked on, it was not performing well. And when we came in, as happens, everyone's like, oh, well, you have a great opportunity to build up this product. And that was true. And I actually do like doing that. But it was also challenging because it didn't have the traction. It didn't quite have the right product market fit. It didn't really fit within the other offerings that the company had. Mm-hmm. And so it was a little bit of an outlier. And I think that made things difficult sometimes. And I think it's just, when you join, obviously people are going to focus on the positive, the opportunity, but you have to, I think, be a little bit skeptical, and just think about, okay, what does that really mean though?
Yeah.
It's like when people are like, I need a rock star. And I'm like, okay, so you want me to work 70 hours a week. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, you had a good point. We're excited that we have an opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's usually 3 to 5 interviews and we've made it this far and we're so excited and we just want to do our best, but we're not thinking, is this a product that I really want to, just because you do product marketing, you have to actually, in order to be creative, you have to like the product.
Yeah, that's true.
And you also, going back to what you said, the company we worked for, the product I was responsible for, great product. It's just I was going up against some big boys and
me. No, my product.
No.
And the competitors.
And our competitors. Yeah. So can I name the competitor? Okay. So
just big CRM companies.
Big CRM
Salesforce,
companies. HubSpot. Okay. So HubSpot. We'll start there. My product was going up against HubSpot. It was even going up against MailChimp,
Yep.
And MailChimp wasn't even in the same category, but MailChimp's offerings was just so much far ahead where I felt stuck.
It's one of those situations where in that category, in the CRM and marketing automation category, there are giant players and they're actually pretty innovative and do a lot of cool stuff. Salesforce releases stuff all the time.
Yeah.
HubSpot's releasing stuff all the time. But then, like you said, there's like Zoho, MailChimp, others that are expanding their platforms, and they have a lot of investment and they are super agile.
Yes.
And so if you do not fit into one of those two categories, if you do not have a significant amount of market share and tons of money and global customers and everything, or you do not have a small team that's building the coolest shit ever constantly. If you're in the middle, that ain't good.
It's not good. You want to find out. So
you need to pick one.
Yes. So do your research when you are applying for a job. Is finding out where you are. It's just you want to make sure that the product that you're going to be responsible for, are they investing in this product, or is it just going to be it's on the shelf right now and you're just kind of going with the flow, because then again you kind of feel stuck. So you got to really like that product that you're.
It is also a challenge though, and if you're a person who likes to dig in and likes to do that and wants to solve problems, that could be a good fit for you. But you just have to, I think you just have to go in knowing, okay, these are my limitations. Because I think for, ambitious type A people were like, okay, we're going to crush this. It's going to be awesome. And then you run into roadblocks that you can't actually get through because the board, the market,
lack of funding, and
literally things you can't do anything about. And at that point, I think it becomes frustrating. And that's why people start their own businesses.
Yes, for sure.
So, Veronica, do you have a certain industry that you want to go into next?
So I liked the last two. Well, I've only worked for 2 industries. I know I like healthcare. I definitely enjoy the healthcare industry, but I have a non-compete, so I can't do that for a while. I also like marketing automation, maybe because I dabbled into that. So marketing automation would be good. Even CRM, as long as it's not focused on manufacturing, I think I'm good. No, CRM in general, I think would be great.
Yeah, they're definitely even when you have fun products, sometimes you can have quite dry industries, right? Where the marketing is not always as fun, or the messaging is not always as fun.
That's what I was going to go with. So Our last company that we worked for, they were very open-minded to any ideas
Mhm.
that we had. We were able to go to the top and the door was open, and
It's a great thing.
yeah, they embraced us when we had ideas. And I loved that about that organization. And it was more like a family. So you want to kind of ask in those interviews, how is that in this organization? Am I able to come up with ideas, or is it very like, this is the only way we do things here? So you want to make sure that that's something that you're okay with.
Or like, if it's a big company, like I'm talking 1,000 plus, you're usually going to have to go through some red tape. Like, I worked for a company that was over 10K employees globally, the largest company I worked for, and I liked a lot of things about it, and I really liked my coworkers there and stuff like that. I did not like that I could only talk to the person above my boss sometimes. There wasn't like a really direct pathway there. And beyond that, no chance. Like, I'm not talking to the VP of whatever, because at that time I was like a specialist manager content. So that was frustrating for me. And honestly, that's why I moved into product marketing from content eventually, is because I found it very difficult to get like a full seat at the table as a content person. And I think if you are able to infiltrate the executives and like actually get some decisions to go through on like a larger scale, I think product marketing is the place to do that. But it's still difficult in a lot of cases.
So you're working for a startup. I love working for startups. Startups, in my opinion, it's like, it's so much work, but it's so exciting. I worked for a startup years ago. And although I think I was like employee number 6, it was just so much work, but it was rewarding at the end when you saw the growth and you see all the work that you put into. They're actually appreciative at that time. You know, how do you like working compared to that 10,000 plus organization where, you know, you're stuck?
So I think honestly, I've discovered I do like it. I think I like a little bit further developed, just so there's a little bit more of a baseline. Like, I set up marketing automation platform like from the ground up, literally. So we had no like content on our website, nothing like that. So I think all of that is fun, but I think it's taken a while, right? Like, I only feel now that I can slow down 8 months in, that I can slow down and focus on really perfecting things instead of just like churning shit out. Like, we need content on the site. We need like an SEO person. We need some emails. Like, we need lead scoring. Like, we need these basic things. And so, yeah, while I enjoy setting that up, I think I enjoy setting up a little further.
Okay. So not like building the house from scratch. You like to, you know, the walls are up already. You want to like start decorating, and
or just like put on a second floor, because I love to build things. It's just the
add-ons.
I think because I don't have a background in marketing ops, I think that has been like the most challenging thing for me, because I mean, you got to get leads in, right? Yeah. So like, that's the thing you need to focus on first. And so I think that part I don't love as much. I love doing campaigns again. I love that. I love the like creativity. I would love to like go be a creative director of an agency one day. So that part is really fun. But
or own your creative director agency.
Yes. Well, yeah, start one. I mean,
start one. Yeah, when you talk about like leads and all that, that's pressure. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
That's not me.
I've never had that kind of pressure. Like,
and I have a sales background, but I don't think I want to do it from a marketing standpoint.
It's really a little bit stressful, because you're like, damn, I know this content's good. It's like, because we're still testing that product market fit. We're still testing like, who are we selling to? Who really is our ICP? We're trying out different groups. And so you want things to resonate, and it's just like, okay, you always have to try things, but I think further down the line, you know a little bit more. You're like, oh, well, we're talking IT. I'm going to go like to IT events. I'm going to do focus groups, IT, which I've done all those things before. It's like, okay, I know who we're going after. I know their problems. Right now, I don't feel that I do. We're definitely further along and I think really finding our niche. I don't know. I just want to be going to the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to
like,
go search for them.
I don't.
It's like a needle in a haystack. Yeah, I could see that. That can be challenging.
Because you're like, yeah, this content is good. Like, we're doing all the things. We're across all the channels we're supposed to be on. And I think, like I said, we are seeing much more qualified leads coming in. It's just a little bit of a slow process for me, which is difficult.
I can see that. What would you tell our listeners that are thinking about starting up their own business, right? Mm-hmm. What would be the first marketing role that they should hire?
Oh, we talked about this before. I mean, I agree with, we had our episode with Rebecca and she said product marketing. I said demand gen growth, then shortly after product marketing. And I really don't think you should have one without the other for very long. But yeah, I think those are very different skill sets.
Definitely.
Especially like content, product marketing. Obviously, I made that switch so some people can go in between those, but the marketing ops side of things is very different from product marketing. And I don't necessarily think product marketers should do that. That's why product marketing is not in my title anymore. That's why it's head of marketing, because I feel I'm doing head of marketing. While I still do a lot of product marketing things, if I'm the person responsible for leads and campaigns and everything else, that's not a typical product marketing role. Yeah.
They typically work hand in hand.
Yep.
And it is a different role for sure. I am with you. I think growth and demand gen is probably first. You can have a website, but if no one knows your website's there, you need to have that growth and demand gen. And then right after product marketing. So yeah, I agree with that. We've had some good guests on our podcast lately, and we have some good guests coming.
Oh yeah,
I'm
guys,
excited.
We have some great guests coming.
Yes. But I was excited. Last week we had Patty, the PMM. Mm-hmm. She's amazing. She just launched her own product marketing like mentorship. So you should check it out. It's a great website. I love her website. I don't know if you had a chance, but it resonated with me as her target market, because there are those moments where we're looking at what we just launched and we're like, did we do this right? Because every launch is different, right? And half the time we haven't done what the expectations are from the CEO or the executive level team. We're like, I've never done this before. So,
well, and everybody has a different definition of what product marketing is, what go-to-market is.
Yeah.
When I started at my company, now they had a go-to-market call, and it was very, very salesy. And I was like, but this is not all of go-to-market.
Do they know now?
No, we separated out the meetings and stuff, but yeah, I mean, go-to-market to me is it's all the ways and all the channels and all the people that, take something to market. Half the company, half the time, you got customer success, you got sales, you got product marketing, anyone who's involved in pushing that out. So yeah, and that's definitely like why our podcast is more than product marketing, because all those things are very important. Mm-hmm. And you have to really work well across all those different areas and with all those different people. And if you don't, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, you have to come in my case, you have to come in as a queen. And you got to have that like...
Did you say a queen?
A queen. You got to come in as a queen, and you got to like delegate and, dictate, I guess, what is going to happen and work with these, individuals and be able to communicate with them, in my opinion.
Girl. No, you got to make friends with people.
Well, yeah, but you've got to be able you can make friends with people, but if they're not listening and you're not confident, that's what I mean by a queen. If you're not confident and you come in kind of timid and you're saying, I need you to do this or that, and then they're not, you can't go to market with, everybody's just kind of like walking all over you. So you got to come in with that confidence like a queen.
I am definitely more quiet the first couple of months.
Oh, I am too.
I'm listening. I'm figuring out where I can fit in, figuring out who the different players are. We had someone come into our company before who
came in guns
is no longer there. Came in guns blazing and made some like judgments and statements right off the bat, not really based on anything. And that causes problems.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Even this person was very high up in terms of the org chart, but like people don't like that. Like maybe take a second, figure out what's
learn
going
the
on.
culture, learn the product, learn your team. But that's why some people jump ship.
We're not great at authority.
Don't tell us what to do.
We don't like that.
Yeah,
I really don't though.
And no, what I mean when I meant by like coming in as a queen is like coming in with your confidence. But like I come in very quiet and I sit and I observe. It's important to observe, but it's like going back to what I said, it's important to give that person time to understand the product, let them train on the product, let them build those relationships. It's important building those relationships, and because there are so many people you have to work with and so many personalities, and getting them to understand the value of your role, that's important.
I want to ask you something I thought about on the way here in my hungover state. I think it's so funny trying to explain our job to people, no matter like how simple I make it, especially if people don't understand like software, tech, all that stuff, like explaining product marketing, even the simplest level. You're just like, oh, okay. I think it's the name. I think the name is not right.
Well, people think marketing. Even when my last company, even my product managers, they were asking me, can you send me images, creative stuff? And I'm like, you got to go to the creative team. Like, can you
go to the marketing team?
Yeah, go to the marketing team. They're assuming marketing is just marketing. Mm-hmm. Can you write a blog about blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I can write a blog about this, but you want the picture to go with it. That's the creative team.
But I think there's, there's the podcast, We're Not Marketers, the product marketers. I don't 100% agree with that, because I do think you can't just be on an island by yourself outside of the marketing team and like just dictating messaging and positioning. I do think that's why we have marketing in our title, because we should be working collaboratively with everyone. But it is confusing. I don't know. What else would you call us though? I have no idea. Maybe like go to market, or that's different too. Yeah. Go to market and product marketing.
Because go to market can be in any capacity. So I thought about that, because people do ask me, like they have this look. So they're like, oh, so like social media. And I'm like, no.
Hell no.
Thank
God.
Yeah. Or so you do like websites. I'm like, no. We write the content for the website, sometimes like we did last time.
Yeah.
We help contribute with that. So there's a lot of confusion as to what we do. Yes. What I like to describe to people, think of it as when the new iPhone comes out, right? The new iPhone is going to come out in, let's say, September, typically October. Who launches that? Who brings that to the public? Who builds that excitement? Who does the messaging? That product marketer works with all the people who are going to come together and announce this big new iPhone, this new advanced iPhone that's going to come out, iPhone, whatever number we're on now. And that's how I like to describe it to people.
Mm-hmm. How is it different from the last one? Why is it better than our competitors? Who are we targeting with this?
Why you should buy it?
Yeah, what are we saying to them? All that stuff comes from product marketing. And it's sometimes I'm just on a tangent, but sometimes I also think about the old school like advertising world, just because I love Mad Men.
I love Mad Men. It's my favorite.
Me and
show.
Brandon love that. So I've seen it at least like 3-4 times all the way through. But it's like we do a lot of that old ad.
Yes, where
work.
She would go in and they had like, it's the old ad work. That's a product marketer.
Yes and no, because they're also like doing the media and things like that.
True.
But like the research behind it and the like getting to the nugget that John Hamm is so good at, that to me is product marketing.
Yeah.
Like, what is
and
driving?
Elizabeth Moss's role.
Oh, I love Peggy.
I know Peggy.
I love Joan too.
Joan.
Who do you think you would be?
So Joan, because she's the mother, right? And I'm a mother. And she does what she has to do. And she's intelligent, but people don't give her that respect sometimes.
Yeah.
But I like Peggy because Peggy's like a go-getter.
Yep.
I see you in a lot of Peggy. She's just that go-getter. And so I have a little bit of that too because she works like 24/7. Again, she doesn't get that credibility all the time, but
yep,
I have a little bit of both.
I was saying the same thing about myself. That's why I was like, I wonder who you think you are. But because this is definitely down a rabbit hole, but they're very different at the beginning of the series than at the end. And so like, I think you can be more like, one or the other at different points in their journey because it's just, they are completely like any good character arc, they're completely different by the end of the series. Just like John Don Draper sitting, meditating in a Pepsi field.
Yes. I didn't want it to end.
I know.
I actually going to go back and rewatch that. Yeah. One of my favorite shows.
Like watch it together virtually.
Yes, we should.
Me and Brandon will literally rewatch Mad Men at any time.
I love Mad Men. There's a new show with John Hamm that I'm watching.
He's great. Yeah, he's funny
he's
too.
awesome.
Like I saw him first in Mad Men, and then I saw him after in Kimmy Schmidt and like some other funny things, and I was like, "Whoa, dude!" And I saw him in Black Mirror. He was in that Black Mirror episode. Yeah, the man is very versatile.
He's in this new one, Friends and Neighbors or something like that. I'm so into it. He's great. Yeah. So we're going off on the tangent, but you get the point of what a product marketer can do.
Yes. And that's how excited you should make people with your message. Like that's, when I think about it, that's my goal. Like when I'm thinking about messaging and positioning, it's not just like we're targeting XYZ and blah, blah, blah. I think you have to have that like, that's where the marketing comes in. That's where like the old school advertising nugget of how am I connecting with this customer? What do my customers want? What's their deepest desire?
And you know what I like? In that show, they would bring individuals and do like the studies and
the tests,
the tests. I find, and our last organization was the same way. We didn't really get to talk to customers much.
Girl, don't even get me started on that change.
Product marketers should be out in the field. We need to be talking to the customers. How are we going to tell a story if we don't hear it from our own customers?
The most I've ever learned 3 or 4 companies ago now, I went to a customer site several times, like all different places around the world, like went with the PMs. They were answering product questions. I was like listening, understanding like how they were using our product. I went into like their data centers and stuff and their storage closet because we erased everything like servers and phones and tablets. Right. Anyway, but like the most I ever learned was literally talking to these people in person. And that's a business expense. Like I flew there or was there and added on time. So that's hotel or whatever. Yeah. It does cost money, but those are the best like marketing nuggets, campaign stuff, content stuff I ever got were from in person.
Totally agree. I think and I don't understand why a lot of organizations, they just see us as you sit at the desk, you learn from the product manager what the product is. But yeah, I need to be out in the field. So the last company luckily sent me to one of the physicians' offices. And so I got to see like how the product was being used and hear like the business case and also hear the pros and cons of what was working, what was not. And so it helped me to be able to write and understand from the, you say storytelling. Well, how are we going to tell a story if we don't know what our customer needs or how they use our product?
Y'all. Okay, we're running out of time, but I want to do an episode on personas.
Yeah.
Persona work is dumb. I'm just that hot take. Like not having an ICP and stuff like that makes sense. Understanding the roles, but making up like John Smith that has a bachelor's degree,
43 years old,
science, and
it
never works. No one ever. Like, I've even known people, like, put them up in the office and stuff and, like, have people interact with the personas. And that you can get somewhere for a while, if you really, really engage people. But at the end of the day, like,
No, exactly.
no one cares. Like, it's anyway.
Yeah.
That's a different topic.
But that's a good topic. We'll come back on that. I like that. I actually I used to hate writing those. I'm like, how do we know this is legit? And nowadays things are different. You have like younger generations running organizations. So it's like John Smith is no longer 55 years old.
Yeah. God.
So
and
we'll do that.
It's just like, anyway, we won't go there. But I also have things to say about competitive battle cards, where I think a lot of stuff is just crap. I'm like, what does sales actually want to know? Do they want to know that this company is headquartered in blah, 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 and this is their mission statement? And this is like...
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
They need to know what is actually competitive. That's why I'm big on competitive intelligence platforms like Crayon. We've used Crayon. You get live data. So I think anything, and then there's also AI now with it. You got to see that. So yeah.
And I think just like our competitive person, shout out Sander, like he helps us with weekly updates as well. There's so much going on in the AI space and the HR tech space. Like, we don't only need to know like what is happening with a handful of competitors. We need to know what the entire market is doing, because we are supposed to be the like agile, innovative ones. We're super young, startup. Like, we need to be in front of all this stuff. Anyway,
and I think that's a full-time job in itself as well.
But then you like need to organize it and all that stuff. And again, you don't want it to like get dumped and lost, or even put in a battle card, because you know that battle card is not going to be updated for 6 months. Why do you even have it at this point?
That's another topic.
All right. We are out of time. We're about to get kicked out of our podcast room, I think. It was so great to be in person.
I know. Oh, it's so good.
I love Veronica. She's the best. So, yeah. Hopefully we can have another in person.
We will.
We have, guys, I'm leaving for Thailand and Vietnam tomorrow on my honeymoon. We should have things out on time. And our next guest is going to be very, very exciting.
I'm excited.
And big in the product marketing space. Yeah. So
you probably
stay
follow
tuned.
this person.
Stay tuned. All right.
Signing off.
Bye.